I'm really looking forward to this season. I think we've got an excellent team in several ways. Obviously there are holes that have got to be filled. You look at, our linebackers last year when you lose Quentin and Chad. Those were two special guys in a lot of ways, so you don't automatically fill those. But I think we've got really good young people at those positions, and it's going to take, maybe a little bit of time for them to kick it into where they feel really comfortable and can fly around the football field. But I like what we've seen of them in terms of what they've been all about last season, winter conditioning, summer conditioning, and early part of fall camp. The middle of the defensive line, too. We lost two guys there that were, very important to us. We're going to have to fill that void. But we got some guys returning that are really proven football players. Offensively, really got a lot of guys coming back. We lost Jake as our center. Obviously, seemed like he was here for 6, 7, 8 years. I'm not sure, but it was great to have him here as long as he was here. Maybe took as many snaps as anybody that I've been associated with at an offensive line position. I mean, he didn't miss a snap. It was tough to get him out of a ball game and basically remained injury-free in terms of the big injuries that would automatically take him out. But he played through a lot of stuff, did a great job for us last year. That spot will need to be filled. Basically have the rest of the guys returning on the offensive line, along with some really key running backs, of course, and quarterbacks returning. I like our wide receiver bunch. I think as a group, they might be the best that we've had since we've been here. So there's some things to like. As far as special teams, I think Brian, who's in charge of our special teams, has done a great job with that. We have a coach that's assigned to each of those teams. But Brian is overall in charge of special teams, has done a great job, and I'm excited that we have our snapper coming back, our holder coming back, our punter and kicker coming back, our return guys coming back, and we got some really talented young guys that we think can serve us well there also. And then special teams, when you talk about it, it's the ability to really cover on kickoffs, punt returns, establish field position, which is critical in trying to win football games, and then the return game in that, obviously, same way, you're establishing field position. So we have somewhat of an experienced football team at a lot of spots, not all spots. As usual, you'd like to try to remain as injury-free as you possibly can as you go through the season, and that's probably the way it is with most MAC schools. It's in not only in our conference, but in where we're at with the other 4 conferences to make up the group of 5. That depth can sometimes be a problem with people in those conferences across the board. But I like the makeup of our team. I like the athletes that we have. I like their energy. I like the leadership that they've shown so far. It's been a great group in that regard, and that helps you win football games. So I think we're going to get off to a start in terms of what we're all about with leadership, energy, and some talent at a number of spots. So we'll see how that all plays out. Our schedule, as we get into the MAC, is always challenging. It's the latter part of the MAC season that seems to determine an awful lot, and so we want to make sure that we get ready to play our best football as we get into the MAC and play out the MAC. I will take any questions you guys have, but I thought what I'd do is have our coordinators come up and just speak to you briefly. Most of you guys, I think, know these guys. Some of you don't. We won't have them talk a long time, but then we'll all 4 be able to answer any questions you may have, or actually any position coach that you'd like to direct a question to. That could also happen. And we have 2 new coaches with us this fall. Tremaine Bart Miller, Tremaine Scott. Tremaine played here, was the 10th coach, and that was added by the NCAA. And then Bart is a coach that replaced Dave Johnson. He's been at Minnesota, has been at Wisconsin, been at the Air Force, been at a lot of really high-profile schools, and has great experience in coaching the offensive line. So, Jimmy, why don't you come up and just say a few words about the defense, okay?
Well, the good news is we have a very talented group on defense. I guess the bad news would be we're going to have 7 of them that are going to start for the first time. So lack of experience is always a concern, but we feel we have very athletic guys that will be stepping up, and they can run and tackle, and they're smart guys. So just the lack of experience is a factor in going into your first games. And we have enough veterans. Some may have not started a lot, but a few have played a lot. So for example, you got at corner Jalen Fox, who started a ton of games, and then you got 2 returning guys that probably played about 20 snaps a game, Jamal Hudson and Marlon Brooks. So they've never started, but they've played in big time games and big time moments. And the defensive ends, Will Evans has played a lot. Austin Conrad played some. Sam Knight and Chukwu has played some, but really, that might be one of our least experienced groups. But again, they've played and they had great springs, and they continue to get better every day during this time. Linebackers, Evan Crouch, we feel is one of the better linebackers in the league. A little overshadowed last year by Quentin and Chad, but we felt he played at an all-conference level for us last year. And then Dylan Connor, he's played some football. Jared Dorsa and Eric Pop and Tyler Gullett, who was a safety, who's now a linebacker. All those guys that played, Tyler actually started at least one game as a safety, and Dylan may have started a game too. But again, a lot of speed there, a lot of athletic ability, and we feel good about that group going into the fall. The safeties have the 2 guys who probably have played maybe the most, Javon Hagan and Kylan Nelson. They've started games. Kylan all the way back as a freshman at corner. Now he's a full-time safety, and Javon Hagan, we feel that's one of the better groups in the MAC. After that, very limited experience. You got Jaron Hampton, Alvin Floyd, Devontae Mitchell, and then after that you have freshmen. So, but again, they're good players, really good athletes, just limited experience. And then the defensive tackles, we've had 4-man rotations for a while here, and Kent Berger has played a lot of football. Andrew Payne has played a lot of football. Brian Arp has played some. Those are our veteran guys that are returning. And then we have Zach Burks and Cole Baker, 2 junior college transfer that Zach's had some injury problems, but Cole had a great spring and will provide depth and is competing for a spot. And 2 redshirt freshmen, Kaim Caesar and Marcus Coleman, both can play and are competing for our backups. So that's just a few of the guys. You could go even farther down the depth chart with guys that are competing, but that's most of the guys that have actually played. So I'll be happy to answer any questions about those guys.
Yeah. Jimmy, you're never going to have a defense that has 11 experienced guys to start a season. In your experience, is it better for that experience to be in the back end like this year, or in the front side, which was the case last year?
Well, we always say the defense really starts up front. So I guess if you were going to make a choice, you'd say those you'd like to have 4 all-conference guys coming back up front. But it is what it is, and at least in the back end, we're really working on improving our pass defense, and so then in that regard, it's very good to have 2 seasoned veterans that can make calls and checks and create some stability back in the back end, and hopefully that'll carry over to the inexperienced guys, the rest of the team.
Coach, it's the first fall with the 10th coach added. Has it made an impact, in your opinion, to have Coach Germano working with the D ends and Tremaine working with the defense tackles, and do you think that will make an impact?
Yeah, we think so. I mean, anytime you can take good coaches and instead of coaching 4, you coach 2. That creates a lot of things that they can do on their own and not have to worry about four guys. There's so much difference nowadays in the techniques that the 2 defensive ends do as opposed to the inside guys. Our defensive ends, sometimes we stand them up, sometimes we drop them, sometimes they're in 3-point stances. So it's getting a lot more so that those guys are isolated in their techniques. And then the D-line, the inside guy that tackles in the noses, I mean, there's just so much. It's almost, like it is coaching totally a different position. So we think that's going to help.
Has it helped with evaluating who's going to start in those spots since you have more eyes out there?
We think so. I mean, Coach Germano and Coach Scott work really well together in that regards, and so there's a carryover and a communication between both of them that say, hey, they're really still evaluating the whole front together. So I think it's a good mix.
Is there a pressure for the older guys like Javon and Evan to step up their leadership, and how do you feel like they have?
I think there is pressure there, and they're good with that. So if they lead by example, and they know what's worked for us in the past in the locker room and outside the locker room, then hopefully they can be a force when that happens. And we have 2 other captains too, Kent Berger and Evan Crouch. So they join. The reason we have 4, I think, speaking from Coach too, is that they all deserve to be captains. They got a lot of votes, and we feel it's one of the better possibilities of great leadership on the defense. So those 4 guys lead by example, and really even though some of them haven't been captains in the past, they've always been leaders in the locker room. So that's a good thing.
Anything else for Coach Burrow?
Okay.
We'll have Coach Alvin come on up.
Good afternoon, guys. Tim Albin, it's 14th year. Unbelievable, it's gone fast. I can't believe it. We're excited about the season. The coach hit on the experience returning on offense is most we've had probably since 13, I would think. I told the offense the first night back from reporting to camp, we basically returned everybody except the 2 NFL tight ends. And we mentioned Troy plays tonight against the Jets. Brian told me where Taylorton's at. Is now coaching, but we got a lot of experience. With that experience, there's going to come high expectations, just from the MAC media days where Coach just got back from, the things in the publications. We're going to try to exceed all those expectations. I think that Coach Burrow on the part of the off season, Coach talked about it, and Jimmy and the senior class has really taken it to a new level. I didn't think it was really possible. I mean, the Jordan Thompson era, every senior class is kind of leaves their own mark. I think, again, these guys have gone above and beyond. I think that Dak has had a great, Sonny and his staff done a great job with our guys as far as development. So I'm very, very excited. Staff-wise, I should have started there, but I got a lot of experience in my room. Dwayne Dixon, I think, is 12 or 13 years. Coach Haines is probably 10. Coach Isfording's been here now for probably 5. And Coach mentioned Coach Miller with the offensive line, just 1 year, but great group. We've got great dialogue, a lot of different ideas, and those guys are great to work with, especially to put up with me in a room for all the hours that we do, with all my nuances. But they're great for sure. Just as far as position, a lot of guys. Jimmy, he mentioned a lot of names, and you get going. I mean, I know the big spot is the quarterback spot, but the guys up front are huge, and so I'm going to start there with the number. If you just go experience like Jimmy was talking in the back end for his guys, Joe on the left side, Joe Lowry, Joe Anderson. Joe Lowry's been basically a 4-year starter. He started as a true freshman. Joe Anderson's a 3-year starter. Right guard, Darrell's been here longer than Coach Dixon. I mean, he started for us in 2013 as a true freshman. He's still here. So it's 2018, I think, right? I mean, he's been here longer than several coaches. But lot of experience. And then you throw in there with Brett Kittrell, Stephen Hayes battling out the center position. Not really behind Darrell, but Darrell started, again, like I said, Hagan, Missouri started every game last year and played basically every snap right next to Jake. And Jake did an unbelievable job making sure the true freshman was going the right direction a lot of times. And then at right tackle, Austin Pleasance is, I talked to somebody, Phil Steele is the guy that does the publications that are out, and I'm not going to, I said it, I believe it, that we have, virtually two awesome tackles, draftable. That's what I think. Joe Anderson is a guy. There's not any question in my mind. And you don't get up in a MAC school and say those kind of things, but ton of experience. They are bigger, faster, stronger, and they've stayed healthy. They know the game, and they are tough. So, we can stay healthy in the up front. It should be a lot of fun. I'll go next to my position, running back wise. 3 seniors. I got 6 in my room. I guarantee you all 6 will play in a game. There's not any question in my mind. AJ's had an unbelievable season. Off season. He had Liz Frank 2 years ago. He's bigger, faster, stronger. That basically, his accomplishments in the weight room did not. Super Iron is the super Iron. It's the highest award given here, and he achieved it higher. They had to come up with another award. So he was clocked in the 4.4s electronically, up in all his lifts, and just had a great off season. Julian Ross, 15 pounds, 4.37 in the 40 electronically. He's had a great off season. Malik's back. David Burrows will be a senior. Jake Netherton had a great spring. He was the cowbell in the spring. Jake Netherton, and I'm really excited about O'Shawn Allison, the true freshman running back. So, not that I mentioned all my guys. That's because I coach them, but I'm really excited about that room. I'll go to the quarterback position. I don't think anybody in our league is going to have. There's nobody in our league that's got 2 like we got. Nobody. I couldn't be. It's like I don't know, 20. We got 20 or 22 starts at quarterback between Nathan and Quentin, and they're both going to play. Nathan's our starter, and he's coming off shoulder surgery, but he and Quentin are. They set the bar as far as knowing the game. I can't. They know who we're blocking up front. They know every protection. Do a lot of things at the line of scrimmage with those guys. They handle it all. They're telling the O-line when to play, motion, and they do a fabulous job. I think they've made huge strides. Pocket presence, throwing with their feet, doing a lot of good things. Yesterday had a good day. A lot of things are going on defensively for our first day of getting after it on 3rd down. They had a good day. So I'm very, very excited about those 2 guys, and we got some young talent there too. Receiver, it's unfortunate about Elijah. And coaches, I'm sure, has talked to Jason about that, but I'm not sure how that's going to work out. But the young man has worked his tail off to get back, and it's just unfortunate. We'll miss him this season, but you got two seniors with Poppy and Andrew Meyer. You guys have got a ton of experience. Cam Odom played in every game, had some huge balls for us, Purdue, Eastern Michigan. Those three guys got a lot of reps there, and then the next guy that with game reps will be D.L. Knock. And behind that, you got 10 to 12 guys that are all freshmen, sophomore or freshmen. So you got two seniors, Cam's going to be a sophomore, and then after that, I think we got 10 or 12 guys that, I'm not sure how it's going to play out. You won't play probably 12, that'd be 16, but they all could. And I think Coach mentioned the talent level. They're young, inexperienced, but they are very talented. You'd like for them to be a little bit stronger right now because they're so young, but there's some length in there, and Dak's going to do wonders with those guys. I know next year there'll be about 10 guys that'll be what you're after at the receiver position. Tight end, we're going to miss the two seniors. There's no question. Connor Brown has played kind of in their shadows. He played in a lot of games the last couple of years. Has had a good off season. Hampered a little bit with a back injury, but he's tough. He's our kind of guy. He's the most experienced guy. We'll probably be the Y, and then Ryan Lerman is at the other position at the F. His brother Adam will be in there, and Noah Hoffman will be battling with Adam and Ryan at the F position. So I hope I didn't go too long by position-wise. I'll just open it up for questions if anybody has any.
Coach, when you've been so successful and you have so much coming back from last year, how do you balance the introduce new stuff with the mindset of, hey, it worked so well last year, let's just keep doing what we're doing?
I think the senior guys and just our team makeup, because you got, AJ, Julian, Malik, two quarterbacks, you got two really good receivers, and I think that we're going to have to do what we do, and I really believe that the unselfishness of the team and our motto and what we're all about. This year from the off season, I don't think anybody's going to get involved in all the number thing. We're chasing a MAC championship, and that's been the goal. It always is. But they got a sticker under their saddle, a little burr in their saddle. So whatever that means stat wise, I don't know. We're going to call the things that need to get called to win the game. And I think all that stuff will take care of itself, especially with our makeup of this football team.
Any questions for Coach Alvin?
Thank you.
Brian? Coach Haines come up, special team.
You guys doing? As Coach said, we feel good with the special teams units, and you should with Louis coming back 2 years, back-to-back 83%. Michael punts the ball, averages around 40 yards, and is good at what we ask him to do, field position-wise with his pooch punts, and, of course, Jake coming back as a 4-year starter with that. With starting off, we've got punt in. With that, it also covers the kickoff portion. Started with punt return yesterday, so we'll keep moving along and keeping a fluid depth chart. And as you hear Coach Albin, Coach Burrow talk, there's speed and athleticism and physicality, and that definitely helps those special teams. What questions do you have?
Brian, with all the, you've got all the boxes checked. You got all your returners back. You got your specialists checked. You've got young talent to swap in on special teams. With that in mind, is this a year when you try more chances, when you try to be more aggressive in making plays happen on special teams units? And I understand the coaches run different ones, but
Sure.
big picture umbrella look? Is this a year when you guys do roll the dice a little bit more and take some gambles in that department?
Yeah, and I feel we did last year. I mean, we blocked 2 punts last year, got 2 safeties on punts last year, and there's a lot of things that also go with the flow of the game. And so to answer your question, yes, and there's different things that go into it.
Special teams is a very emotional unit. You have to buy in to be good at it. How have the young guys been buying into it and like really, they came here to play offense and defense, but getting a chance to play on special teams, how well have they been like buying into the system?
We have fun in our room with that, and we're able to do that because our veterans and the leaders on our team, I mean, they leave their egos at the door. You look at last year, Quentin Poling, he was on 2 special. He was on punt and kickoff. Troy Mangum was on punt, and Blair Brown, playing for the Jaguars, he ran on special teams. Casey Sales was on punt. And those guys are seniors on special teams, so that speaks for itself. And our older guys do a great job of bringing our younger guys along, and it's not rolling the eyes, special teams. It's special teams, let's go. And like Coach said, a big thing for us is establishing field position. And that's what we do.
Any more questions?
Okay, thanks, fellas. Guys did a good job. Any questions of me or any of the other coaches?
We've kind of bugged you about this already, but there's real, not pressure, but you've never been this big a favorite to win your side of the MAC or the MAC title game. In what ways does that impact how you get ready in fall camp, if any at all?
I think it's on the mind of our players. They want to win a MAC championship. I think the coaches are the same way. We're out to we've got our goals set. We're out to win MAC championships. We have not been able to get that done. We've gotten to the game 4 times. In my mind, should have won it twice. Maybe could have won it 3 times. But we didn't, and so we're kind of where we're at in that regard. But we're excited about the opportunity. I think our players believe in one another. I think they feel like this is a good group of athletes. They want to maximize their abilities, and we're going to see where that takes us. And I think if we really play well, if we really coach well, we'll be in the thick of it as we come down the stretch and maybe have a shot.
Coach, just bouncing off of that, the players come here to win championships and everything, but this is year 14 for you. Does it have a different meaning now? You've been there 4 times. People always ask you about it. Do you ever just kind of catch yourself just thinking about what it would be like?
No. To be honest with you, all I'm after is for our guys to play the best that they can play, for us to coach as good as we can coach, for me to coach as good as I can coach. I don't have to win a MAC championship to feel like I'm a good coach. I know that's the case. I don't need a MAC championship to know that these guys are great coaches. I know that. What we would like to do is to win a MAC championship for everybody involved, for the families, the coaches and their families, for obviously the fans, the administration, everybody associated with Ohio, and obviously the players. We're wanting that to happen for them as much as anything, and so I'm glad that there's optimism about us having a football team that maybe has a chance at that. But I'm smart enough, I've been in this business long enough to know there's so many things that have to come together in order to get that done. At times you got to overcome injuries to get it done. At times you got to overcome officials' calls to get it done. There are a lot of things that enter the picture. So I think if we play on top of our game, we'll have a chance to be a very good football team.
One more on expectations, Coach, and kind of thinking of big things. Anybody that's picked to win one of the group of 5 leagues, obviously, and it's been proven in the MAC that you could get there to the Access Bowl, Northern Illinois, the Orange Bowl, Western Michigan, obviously the Cotton Bowl. Do you want your guys to think about that as another goal, or do you want them to not even think about that at all?
No, that's what we're all about in terms of our program. That's what we want to get accomplished. We want to go to MAC championship games. We want to win them. We want to be in the top 25 with regularity. We want to get in that special bowl. Those are all goals. You've got to take steps in order to get that done. That's what we're trying to do. Sometimes we marched in place a couple times, instead of taking the step that maybe we should have taken and been able to have taken. But that's kind of where it's at. This is a great group of guys. I'm excited for them. We'll see where this goes. All I want is for them to play as the best that they can play, for us to coach the best that we can coach, and we'll see where things play out from there.
You're on the road forever to start the season. You got to be ready from the get-go.
Yeah,
Can
yeah.
you just talk about that?
Yeah, no question. There's several things there that one of our mottos and saying is no limits. So we can't care about being on the road at the beginning of the year a lot. That cannot enter our mind. We can't care about the way the schedule fell, and we have our bye after the first game. There's nothing we can do, nothing we can control there. But that's what it is. So we just move on. And I think if you take that approach, and our guys are into that, I think it gives you your best chance. So no limits is a big term for us. There's nothing that we don't think we can do as individuals. There's nothing that we don't think we can get accomplished as a team and an organization. So we'll attack the negatives and see what happens.